Easy run. This is the run most people accidentally turn into a medium run. An easy run should feel controlled. You can speak in full sentences, your breathing stays comfortable, and you finish knowing you could have kept going. The exact pace will change with fitness, hills, heat, sleep, and whatever else your body has decided to complain about today. So do not force one magic number from your watch. Easy running lets you build aerobic training volume without creating the same fatigue as harder work. That matters because endurance does not come from proving how tough you are every Tuesday. It comes from training consistently, recovering, and doing it again. The common mistake is running easy days just hard enough to feel productive, but not hard enough to create a clear, high-intensity stimulus. Now you are tired for no specific reason. Very efficient. If you are unsure, use the talk test. Full sentences should still be possible. Easy does not mean useless. Easy is what makes the rest of the week possible. Recovery run. A recovery run is basically an easy run with an even smaller ego. It is usually short, relaxed, and placed after a hard workout or race. Its job is to add a little movement or training volume without becoming another demanding session. It is not a special pace that magically repairs your legs, and it does not flush all the bad substances out of your body like somebody opened a drain. Research on active recovery shows that light movement can clear blood lactate faster after hard exercise. But faster lactate clearance does not automatically mean your muscles are fully recovered, or that tomorrow's performance will be better. Lactate is also not the reason you stay sore for 3 days. So judge this run by the result. If you start stiff and gradually feel better, fine. If your form gets worse and every step feels heavier, walking or resting may be the better recovery session. A recovery run that requires its own recovery run has missed the point. Long run. The long run is simply the longest run in your current week. There is no universal distance that suddenly makes it official. 5 kilometers can be long for a beginner. 20 kilometers can be routine for an experienced marathon runner. Context is doing a lot of work here. Most long runs are done at an easy or controlled effort. They help you accumulate aerobic work and practice staying on your feet when the run stops feeling new and starts feeling long. For distance runners, consistent easy volume and regular longer runs are strongly associated with better performance and a better ability to maintain running economy as fatigue builds. What people get wrong is treating every long run like a race simulation. They push the final half, destroy the next few days, and call it mental strength. Sometimes it is just poor scheduling. Build the duration gradually. Fuel and drink when the length and conditions require it. And finish most long runs with enough control that the stairs at home do not become a second workout. Steady run. Steady is one of those running words that sounds precise until 2 coaches use it. Usually, it means continuous running faster than easy pace but slower than a true tempo or threshold effort. Your breathing is deeper, conversation becomes shorter, but the effort still feels controlled. You are working, but nothing dramatic is happening. Steady runs can add moderately hard aerobic work without the strain of a full interval session. They can also teach you to hold a consistent effort. The problem is not steady running itself. The problem is drifting into this intensity on every easy day. Do that often enough and your training becomes one long collection of medium-hard runs. Too hard to recover like an easy run. Too easy to replace focused, high-intensity work. This middle intensity can be useful, but it needs a reason. If the plan says easy, run easy. If the plan says steady, now you may look mildly concerned. Tempo run. Tempo run is not a laboratory term with one agreed definition. Runners use it for several kinds of sustained, controlled hard running. That is why one person's tempo pace can look suspiciously like another person's threshold pace. In practical terms, a tempo run is usually a continuous block, or a few longer blocks, at a comfortably hard effort. You are clearly working. You can say a short phrase, but you are not giving a speech. The pace should feel controlled enough that you do not fade badly before the planned work is done. Tempo running helps you practice holding a faster pace for longer than short intervals allow. It can be useful for races where sustained speed matters, but faster is not always better. If you turn the first few minutes into a personal record attempt, the rest of the workout becomes a detailed explanation of that mistake. Think controlled pressure, not survival. A good tempo run ends because the planned work is complete, not because you physically cannot continue. Threshold run. Threshold training aims near the boundary where lactate production begins rising faster than your body can keep it relatively stable. The physiology is real. The exact pace is not one permanent number carved into your watch. Laboratory testing can estimate threshold using blood lactate or breathing responses. Outside a lab, runners often use recent race performance, heart rate, perceived effort, or the talk test. Around this intensity, speaking usually drops from sentences to short phrases. Threshold work can be continuous, but many runners split it into longer repetitions with short recoveries. The breaks make it easier to accumulate controlled work without turning the session into a race. That word is important. Controlled. Tempo and threshold are often used as if they mean the same thing. Sometimes they nearly do. A useful distinction is that tempo describes a broad workout style, while threshold points to a physiological intensity region. If every threshold session ends with you lying beside the track, you have probably discovered a different threshold. Interval run. Intervals are repeated work periods separated by recovery periods. That is the entire concept. They are not automatically all-out sprints. You might run short repetitions quickly with generous recovery, or longer repetitions at a lower speed with shorter recovery. Change the work duration, pace, rest, number of repetitions, or terrain, and you change the training stimulus. This is why saying you did intervals tells us almost nothing. It is like saying you ate food. Useful start, missing several details. High-intensity intervals can improve maximal oxygen uptake and running performance. But the session works best when the repetitions are repeatable. Successful endurance coaches generally describe hard intervals as controlled rather than exhaustive. Start the first repetition at a pace you can still manage near the end. If rep 1 is heroic and rep 6 is a public emergency, the pacing was wrong. The recovery matters too. Jogging, walking, standing, and different rest lengths all change what you can produce in the next repetition. The rest is part of the workout. It is not an embarrassing pause you need to hide. Fartlek. Fartlek means speed play. It is continuous running with changes in pace, and it can be structured or very loose. You can run hard to a tree, easy to the next corner, then repeat, or use timed efforts such as 1 minute fast and 2 minutes easy. Unlike track intervals, the pace can respond to hills, wind, and how you feel. This makes Fartlek useful for learning effort instead of staring at exact splits every 10 seconds. It can also be a practical introduction to faster running because the hard sections do not need to be perfectly measured. But unstructured does not mean random suffering. Decide what the session is supposed to do. Keep the faster portions controlled and let the easy portions actually be easy. If you sprint every landmark you see, eventually you will notice how many landmarks exist. Fartlek is simple, flexible, and effective. It is also the only workout name that makes beginners think the coach is joking before the workout even starts. Hill repeats. Hill repeats are intervals performed uphill, usually followed by an easy jog or walk back down. Running uphill increases the demand for propulsion and usually raises oxygen use and cardiovascular effort at a slower absolute speed than flat running. In normal language, the hill makes you work hard without needing to move very fast. Your pace will look slower. It is a hill. That is normal. Short, steep repetitions can focus more on power and mechanics. Longer, gentler repetitions can create a strong aerobic workout. The slope, duration, and effort decide what kind of session you are doing. Do not assume hills are automatically safe just because the speed is lower. Load still rises, especially through the calves and lower legs, and running back down adds its own stress. Start with a modest number of controlled repetitions and recover properly. Keep your effort strong but repeatable. You should look like the same runner on the final repetition, just one who now regrets choosing a hill. Progression run. A progression run starts slower and finishes faster. Simple idea. Surprisingly difficult for anyone who treats the first kilometer like an escape attempt. You might begin at an easy effort, move into steady running, and finish with a controlled faster section. The exact progression depends on the purpose. It can teach pace control, let you complete faster running after some fatigue, and make a normal aerobic run more specific to racing. The key is that the pace changes gradually. This is not an easy run followed by one desperate sprint, and the finish does not need to be all out. In most progression runs, you should still be running with decent form and clear control. Progression runs are useful, but they are not mandatory every week. They create more fatigue than a normal easy run, so count them as a purposeful workout. Starting slowly is not wasted time. It is the part that allows the finish to be good. Strides. Strides are short, relaxed accelerations with plenty of recovery. They are fast, but they are not maximum effort sprints. You gradually build speed, run quickly with smooth form for a short period, then ease down. After that, recover enough to make the next one equally relaxed. Runners often place a few strides after an easy run or before a faster session. Their main practical use is to touch faster movement without the fatigue of a full-speed workout. They can help you practice coordination and make faster running feel less unfamiliar. But there is nothing magical about a specific number of strides, and doing more is not automatically better. If your face is tense, your shoulders are near your ears, and you are racing an imaginary opponent, that is no longer a relaxed stride. That is a small sprint with branding, fast and smooth, full recovery. Stop while it still looks easy. So which type of run should you do? Not all of them. Definitely not all of them this week. Each run has a job. Easy and long runs build most of the aerobic foundation. Tempo, threshold, intervals, fartlek, and hills add different forms of faster work. Recovery runs reduce the demand. Progression runs practice changing pace. Strides give you a small dose of speed. Research on successful endurance training consistently shows a large amount of low-intensity work combined with smaller amounts of deliberate moderate and high-intensity training. The exact distribution depends on the runner, the event, the training phase, and how much work that person can actually recover from. If you are new, start mostly easy. Build consistency before complexity. Add one new demand at a time instead of collecting workouts like they are achievements. The best plan is not the one with the most impressive names. It is the one you can recover from, repeat, and gradually improve.